Okay, now it is time to turn our attention to seeing how we can start working with the front end. So far, our back end is working, and we have created a few endpoints of our API where we can fetch certain data. So now we want to start with the front end. And as for the front end, we will be using a React Vite and with tailwind CSS. So let me just close this up. I will come back to it later. Let me even close this index.js, and then I can leave this server running for now if I want to. Let me expand the screen, or let me simply close the stop the server by pressing Ctrl C. So Ctrl C is going to stop the server. So let me do cd space front end once more, front end, and let me press enter, and now I am inside the front end folder, which is currently empty. As you can see, it has nothing inside it. So what I want to do is I want to start a new project, a new front end project, and like I said earlier, I will be using React Vite with tailwind CSS. So let me go inside my browser, and let me open a new terminal in the browser, and I will simply search for tailwindcss.com. So actually, Tailwind is a library of JavaScript of CSS. Okay, and it says rapidly build modern website without ever leaving your HTML. Okay, and if you go down here, you can see example of how Tailwind works. Okay, you are doing the coding here. You don't have to write any CSS, and then all these styles will be applied to your work, and it is kind of like becoming the modern trend of building websites. So let me go back up here and let me click get started. So from the get started page, you can choose what kind of project you are planning to build. So let me go with framework guides. Select the framework guides, and you have different frameworks here. As you can see, we have Next.js, Laravel, Vite, Nuxt, and so on and so forth. My interest is going to go on Vite because it's what I will be using. Okay, so here are the steps. First of all, we need to create the Vite project. So you can simply copy that line. Let me do Ctrl C to copy, and then go back to my work and simply Ctrl V to paste it right there. So you see what this is telling you is that it will create you. It says npm create vid at latest. That is the basic command, and then this space my project is going to be the name of your project. But as for me, I have this folder which is front end, and I want to preserve that name for the project. Therefore, I will remove that my project, and in place of it I will put dot slash, which means in the current directory. Then I will press enter on that. Okay, it will just take a while for your project to be set up, and when it does set up, you will see some files will show right under this front end. Okay, so it needs to install the following packages: create vid at 5.2.0, which is the latest. So let me press enter. That is okay to proceed, and it does it. As you can see, we have a couple of folders: public, source, EastLint, gitignore, and so on and so forth. Okay, all of these are the requirement for the project. Then the next thing is also to install tailwind css, post css, auto prefixer. So let me Ctrl C to copy them, and then come back in my project and paste them, Ctrl V. Okay, but in addition to all of these, I also want to work with React icons. So let me type React-icons. And by the way, where you can find information about these React icons is you can simply search it online. You simply search React icons. So it will take you right to the website where you can use React icons. And if you click on home, then here is where you are. So you can see these are the examples of the icons you can use in your project. And down here, you can see this is the installation. npm install React icons. Okay, so that is exactly what I have added right here. npm install, apart from this tailwind, whatever I have React icons. Then the next thing I also would like to install is going to be React router DOM. Okay, again, you can search for React router DOM. So let me change a little bit. Let me do npm React router DOM. Okay, so we can get the information from npm right here. So you can see this is the command npm install React router DOM. Again, that is what I have done. As you can see, it is very popular. It has more than 7 million weekly downloads, about almost 8 million weekly downloads. Okay, so it is actually very popular. So the next thing I will also install is going to be Axios. And this package is going to allow me to communicate with my server. So you see, this is my front end, this is my server. So with Axios, my application is going to be able to talk to this server, okay, and I will be able to fetch the information from the server. So far, these are what I would like to actually use in my application. I may install some more later, but for now, let's say these are all that I require. So let me go ahead and press enter on them. So usually this will take a while depending on the speed of your computer and the internet connection. So you have to be patient a little bit for everything to set up properly. Okay, so the download and installation of these dependencies have been finished. So like I told you, you can see the new folder has been added, and if we come down here and check this package.json, we will see all the dependencies that have just been added. Okay, if we scroll down a little bit, here you can see the dependencies. You can see we have the React DOM, React, okay, from down here, post CSS, React icons, React router DOM, tailwind CSS, and Vite. They are all installed, and you can also see our Axios has been installed, our prefixer. Okay, so these are the dependencies that this application is actually working with. So let me close that up and let me discuss about the structure of of the application we have here. So the important folder is the source folder. It's where we spend most of our time doing our programming. Inside it, you can see another folder, assets folder, where you can have your images and so on. You can see app.css. Later on, we'll delete this because we are not going to use it. We have app.jsx, which is our entry point into this program. We have index.css. Okay, we'll change it a little bit later. And we have main.jsx, which is like the controller of all our applications. Okay, so these are what we have right here. So the next thing that we have to do is to type this command in our terminal, npx tailwind css init-p. So let me go ahead and copy that, and then I will come back, paste it right here inside our terminal, and press enter. Okay, so now we have the two files added, tailwind config and then post css also config. So you can see the first CSS, you can see the tailwind config. But this tailwind config is what we are going to start working with. We are going to tell the config where to actually find our CSS, and that should be inside this content. Again, if we go back to the website, we will see the next steps is that configure your template path. Okay, add the path to all your templates files in your tailwind.config.js file, which means inside this content we are going to need to have these two lines: index.html and then the slash source slash star star slash star dot then whatever extension jsts jsx tsx. So let me copy that and let me come back to my terminal and then paste them right here. Okay, so just for now, that is what we are going to do. There are a couple more things which we can do if we have to, but for now let me just save that and close that up. Okay, and again, coming back to the website and following the documentation, it says add the tailwind directives to your CSS. So inside the index.css, we want to add these directives. So let me copy all of them and then I will come back to index.css, which is right here. So all of this code, I don't want to have any one of them, and I would simply select all of them, Control A, delete them, and paste what I have just copied from the Tailwind website. Okay, at Tailwind base, at Tailwind components, at Tailwind utilities. Okay, so let me press Ctrl S to save that, and let me also close that up. Okay, so that is pretty much it that we need to do to set up our tailwind. The next is simply for us to run our application. So before running our application, I would like to come back to my application right here, and like I told you, I will delete a couple of files which I will not be using. So let me start with the app.css. This file, I will not use it. It is just CSS file because I will be using Tailwind, so I will not concern myself with working with this CSS. Therefore, I will press delete on my keyboard and the file is going to be deleted right away. Move to recycle bin. Then I will enter into this app.jsx, and from the app.jsx, I don't want to have anything that is pre-written inside here. So I will simply do Ctrl A and delete everything so that I have a blank app.jsx file. So I will now type RAFCE. Okay, this is an abbreviation, RAFCE, for React Arrow Function Export Component. You type it, you press enter, and you will have some basic tags. Let me press escape for React. And that first line, I don't even want it for now, so let me just remove it and let me save that up. Okay, and by the way, where do we get that RAFCE? If you install your Vite and VS Code, if you install your VS Code, then you can come over to extension marketplace right here and you can search for ES7 Plus React Redux React Native. Here it is. As you can see, I already have it, and that is why I was able to simply type RAFCE. You see that? ES7 Plus React Redux React Native snippets. Okay, so you can simply come over here, search for it, and install it if you don't already have it. So now that I have it, and I have written that initial code, then the next thing is to run my application, and I can do that by typing npm run dev. Then I will press enter, and that is going to start my development server. Our development server has started, and as you can see, it is running on localhost column 5173 port. You can follow the link by pressing control and clicking on the link, and that is going to open in your browser. And that is this app. Okay, so let's say I say here welcome to Haiti and save, and it will automatically update what is there. As you can see, it says welcome to Haiti. Okay, so now our initial project setup has been done.